And so, what's the other cat's name?
Delta.
Delta.
Delta Burke.
Delta Bird.
Oh, I
That
thought it was Delta Dawn.
That
Yeah, it
Delta
says
Burke from
Delta Dawn.
Designing Women Gal. Oh, I loved her.
Yeah.
She reminded me of Suzette. She was that big, busted, jolly. Wasn't that her?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was. She was a good-looking gal. I liked her.
Can't remember her name.
There was that other gal from the south that was
Yeah.
I
she
didn't
was
like
kind
her.
Yeah, she was kind of the.
Charlene or Charlene or something like that. Yeah, that was a good program. I like that. Why are we closer to the camera?
Because the mic battery went out, so I had to have it closer so we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
So how long did your mom date Johnny Grimaldo?
To the 6th grade. I was in the 6th grade when they broke up. And I recall probably from the 2nd grade, 3rd grade, maybe about the 2nd grade. So 3-4 years.
So the three of you lived together? Or
No.
did Uncle
Well,
Manuel-
we
I was there.
yeah. Manuel was coming and go. Manuel was coming and go. Manuel didn't like Johnny because that wasn't his dad, and he didn't like the fact that Mom was dating him and he was living with us. Was his deal. He didn't think it was right, and he was the rebel one.
That's just
Anyway.
what I was gonna say.
You know, it was kind of ironic when you stop to think about
Right.
his thinking. You know, but he moved out and he went and he lived with the Durans. Matter of fact, he lived with Ellen, or his wife, future wife. He moved in with because he didn't live in Boulder on Boulder Street with us, and that was the last time that when he was there, when you were in high school. I think you graduated that year, didn't you? 57.
Yeah, that was my year. 57.
So when you lived with him, that was the house that's by the high school?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Across the street, basically.
1 block down.
And Johnny worked at
He was in construction.
Air Force Academy?
Well, that was one of his jobs. He worked on numerous job sites in Colorado Springs because he was a laborer, and he did odd. I don't know if you would call him a carpenter.
Metal worker,
Yeah,
plumber.
those
Probably-
guys were odd.
Yeah, they were all, you know.
There was no specific trades. There was, but that was the foreman and the superintendent were probably the sharpest guys. But others were just a jack of all trades. They could do anything. They had to survive back then.
So then when they broke up, is that when she moved to California?
Not exactly. When Jim graduated, I was still with Mother and with Johnny. And we moved out to Nob Hill, out by where we were, not at Austin Bluffs, but it was out there off of Academy and Platte. We were 2 blocks north of Platte. We had a house. We were living down in the basement of a family, and that woman that owned the home worked with Mother at Gemtel in downtown Denver. So she had that place, and that we moved from Boulder out there on Franklin. That's when I went to Franklin. Remember when I said I went
Yeah.
to Franklin Elementary? That was the last school, 6th grade, that I went to. And then after that, when Johnny and her broke up, we moved downtown to 5 Points when we said there was a store there, and then we had an apartment upstairs. Well, Mother was single at the time, and do you remember she met Chuck, the Army guy?
From Georgia or
Yeah, he was from the south
Oh,
somewhere.
yeah.
But she met a Camp Carson soldier. Because she still had ties with one knows her and Margaret guitarists used to go dancing up there at those country western places
Yeah.
up there by the racetrack,
Right.
North Nevada.
Yeah.
Her and Margaret would go. Margaret was married, and but Mom and her were girlfriends, and so they would go dancing. They loved to go dancing, country western dancing. And she met this guy by the name of Charles Rosen, and he came and ended up living with us off base. He was in the military. He was like a sergeant, you know, because they could move off base like that if they were up higher rank. But he was married and had a family in Georgia. But for Mother, it was money coming in, you know. So I can't say Mother's moral and everything was the right thing, but she knew how to survive,
It was survival time.
you know. That's the best way I could say is how to survive. She still had children, me at home. And so that's when we moved to California on January 13, 1963.
Your birthday?
Yes. Louise and Daniel was coming from, Daniel had bought that new car that,
She was with Daniel at that time?
yeah. That's why we went to California, to live with them.
Oh.
Yeah.
She
and
already had Lisa and
yep, the trailer park. Yeah. That's where Uncle Andrew and them, they had a trailer there, and we had there was a house, cottage house we set in the back that me and Mother lived in on the property. It
so
was
she just wanted to be close to Aunt Louise, or she
well,
had a
yeah,
job,
that's
or
well.
what?
Louise talked to her. She says, "Mom, you have nothing here. You know, Jim, Manuel, everybody's gone, and you know, and I was 13 at the time. I just turned 13, and she says, "Why don't you come and live with us and start a new life in California?" So we were living in a rented, furnished apartment. So we didn't have furniture to take. It was just our bags. And I remember us putting them on top of the car, strapping them on top of the car.
What was
This
that?
was after you graduated from high school?
Yeah, well, he did in 57, remember?
Yeah, I graduated in 57.
Oh, and this was
Yeah.
63?
Yes.
Oh, okay. But then you must have come back pretty soon.
Well, I wasn't there that long. I wasn't there that long in California. Wait, stop to think about it.
It had to have been before
It,
then.
it
because-
was. Excuse me, I'm wrong. It was 1959 that we went to California. Now, if we add it up, I was just turning 13 in 59. So I was born in 46. In 59, how old would I have been?
Yeah, it was 13.
13. That's what it was. 1959. I'm sorry. Yeah. Because when did we go to see you and Susie and the kids in Denver? Did we come from California to see you?
I don't
With
remember,
Louise?
but I've got another photograph that showed that picture of you and
Louise?
Louise. Louise had on a unusual kind of
Yeah, outfit.
outfit on,
Yeah.
and
Mother, you,
and, we were living with
her
her
parents.
parents in Denver at in an apartment house.
Right. And that picture was taken out front.
Right. Yeah.
Right. It had like an iron rod. I don't. It was.
Guard fence in the
Yeah.
background. We were
Yeah,
standing
I
in front
remember
of
that.
Yeah.
And that was after, I think you probably might have, well, when you were in college, you were going to school, but I don't know what grade you would have been in there because I don't remember after we were there, and then when we came back, you might have been almost a senior, ready to graduate
From,
college.
College.
DU.
that would have been 57, 58, 59, 60, 61.
Could have been about that time.
61.
Well, 60, 61, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So why did you come back to Colorado?
Well,
You got in some trouble.
No, I wasn't in trouble. I got in trouble with school in the fact that I had a motorcycle accident my sophomore year, first semester, and so I couldn't go back to school to finish that first semester, so I lost that whole semester, and I couldn't go back the second semester, so I lost my whole sophomore year. So I wanted to finish my education. I had him as a mentor, as how well he did. He was my mentor, me growing up. He was my dad, my brother, my sister, my whatever he was. And so I contacted him and said, listen, I'd like to finish school, but I have to come back to it would be good for me to come back and live with you to help me finish my education. So my junior year, I came back and lived with him. Me and him were bachelors, and I lived with Jim. But I had to double up on my courses to make up for those credits that I lost my whole sophomore year. So my first year, my junior year, I lived with Jim, and then that summer, these two lovebirds got married. And I thought, oh no, there goes my senior year, they won't want me. And
We wouldn't have done that.
well, that was what I thought was going to happen. And I did so well my junior year under his leadership and everything
You can take that.
that I went back to California that summer because I was working, and so my senior year they wanted me to come back and finish and graduate from North High. But since they were married and they had a home in North Denver, and they asked me to come and live with them, so my senior year, it was very stressful senior year for them and for me,
I don't
because
think it was that.
well, they were
It was for you as a.
they were newlyweds, and I had full load of classes, and I was playing baseball and basketball, so I didn't work at all.
Well, and Susie was already pregnant.
Well, Suzette,
No, Susie,
Susie who?
my wife.
Well, we're talking to your wife here, Elizabeth.
No, she didn't come into the picture until later, didn't she?
No.
She came in 62.
No,
This is 61.
Jim, I graduated in 65. When did you graduate? When did you get
64,
married?
64.
Okay, who did you marry? In 64. Okay. And I came back in 65 to live with you.
Okay.
Yep,
So who did I live with?
us.
Us.
Okay, and who
I
is
had gotten married to Susie
in 57?
57, then 58, 59, 60.
You got a divorce.
We got a divorce
Okay.
after 2 kids.
Now, are you straightened out of who your
Marcia.
wife is?
Well, sort of.
You can edit that part, Kathleen. So we don't get in trouble. Well, him anyway, not me. It was him, not me. So I came back and I lived my senior year with Jim and Betty, and I'm so grateful that they opened their home to me to do that. And so,
Although you spent most of the year at Suzette's.
yeah, I did. Well, you guys were
Which is
busy
fine.
doing your thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
which is fine for us.
yeah. Yeah, it worked out good because you bought that old Pontiac,
Yep.
and I got my license, and you allowed me to on weekends and maybe one day during the week to go visit Suzette down in southwest Denver. You know, it was clear across town. Otherwise, I used to ride the bus. We dated on the bus, RTD bus. We dated, and then I ended up becoming a RTD bus driver 65 years later, or 60 years, or whatever it was. So, but that's
That's life.
yeah. I guess is that all of the questions there?
Well, so you lived in the house downtown
The Groff House.
for,
The Groff
for your
house.
junior year.
Yes, my
With
junior
him-
year.
with
Yeah,
him
we
and
was
Jerry.
1 year. I don't know. Well, you guys got married. We left to go to the wedding in
Yeah.
Illinois
Yeah.
that summer.
We got married in 64.
Yeah, in June. Right after school. Well, school I guess was out, and boom, we were gone.
Yeah.
For the wedding was planned right after school got out.
It was June
I had to go to.
16th,
I was going to summer school.
19.
19th.
Mm-hmm. You had a class or
Yeah, I was
school
going to summer
where-
school.
Yeah.
Union College in Schenectady. So we got married and went to New York. And from then on, it just kept going to school, traveling, just all kinds of stuff going on. We got out of that house on Decatur. Was it Decatur?
Mm-hmm.
In North Denver, and then ended up going out to Green Mountain. I think, wasn't that when we went to Green Mountain? Or was that,
Yeah. When you came back.
yeah.
Yeah, you moved out to Green Mountain. So, remember me and Suzette